I never thought I would tell this story, let alone admit it, but I cheated while I was married. Not once. 7 times. I had 7 different lovers in a single year. And the strangest part is that I didn't do it because I stopped loving my husband. I didn't do it out of resentment, revenge, or anger. I did it because I felt like I needed it. I know that sounds strange, but let me explain. I got married young. Too young, I think. By the time I turned 30, I already had a ring on my finger, a stable life, plans for the future, and what looked, from the outside, like a good life. Everyone told me I had done the right thing. They said I had found a good man and settled down at the perfect time. But no one ever asked me if I felt like I had already lived everything I needed to live. For years, I was the girl who was always going out. The one with dates, adventures, random conversations, and messages from different men. I've always liked men. Always. And I don't just mean intimacy. I mean the curiosity, the attraction, the excitement, the conversations, the feeling of being alive. I loved meeting new people, feeling attractive, choosing and being chosen. It was part of who I was. I never saw it as a problem. It was simply how I experienced my femininity. When I got married, I thought that part of me would just disappear. I believed love would be enough to replace everything else. I thought maturity meant closing doors and never looking back. I believed a lot of things that, looking back now, turned out not to be true. The first few years were good. Peaceful. Stable. My husband is a good man. Attentive, hardworking, dependable. He never failed me when it mattered. He never made me feel small. He never gave me a reason to doubt him. And because of that, I spent a long time convincing myself that any dissatisfaction I felt had to be my fault. That something was wrong with me. The feeling came slowly. It wasn't some uncontrollable urge. It was more like the sense that something was missing. I felt bored with my life. I would see young couples, people going out, attractive men walking down the street, and I'd feel this strange nostalgia. Not because I wanted to be single again, but because I missed the possibility. I missed the things that were no longer allowed. Everything I had left behind so quickly. I kept telling myself I was overreacting. That it was normal to get bored sometimes. That this was simply what adulthood looked like. That marriage wasn't supposed to be exciting all the time. So I kept going. Working, coming home, doing what I was supposed to do. Until one day I realized I was living on autopilot. And that wasn't the life I wanted. That was the moment I started cheating. I remember thinking it would only happen once. Just enough to answer a question I couldn't stop asking myself. Just enough to see if that feeling I missed still existed. And when it happened, I didn't feel guilty. I felt relieved. As if something I had been suppressing for years had finally found a way out. That's when I realized something that was difficult for me to accept. I wasn't trying to leave my husband. I wasn't looking for another relationship. I didn't want a different life. I just wanted to feel what I used to feel before I got married. I wanted to remember who I was before I met him. After the first man came the second. Then another. And another. Each one served a different purpose. One was about conversation. Another was casual. Another gave me attention. Another simply reminded me what it felt like to have choices. None of them were better than my husband. They were just different. And somehow, that was enough. During 2025, I had 7 lovers. 7 different men. 7 parallel lives existing alongside my marriage, and nobody knew. Nobody suspected a thing. I did everything I was supposed to do. I came home. I smiled. I slept next to my husband. We planned our future together. And at the same time, I carried secrets no one else knew existed. The hardest thing to explain is this: I love my husband. I respect him. I care about him. I didn't wake up every morning planning to betray him. I woke up wondering how to keep 2 versions of myself alive without either one facing consequences. The responsible wife, and the woman who still felt the need to explore. I knew it was wrong. I don't need anyone to tell me that. But I also knew it wasn't as simple as just stopping. Because this wasn't really about intimacy. It was about life. About chapters one feel like I rushed through too quickly. About choosing a future before I was truly ready to let go of everything that came before it. Every time I told myself that was the last time, I knew I was lying. Not because I lacked self-control, but because I had opened a very dangerous door. A door that had been closed for years. And once a door like that is opened, it's not so easy to go back to the life you had before. Today, as I tell this story, it isn't over. And that's the hardest part for me to admit. Because I'm not talking about something that happened in the past and stayed there. I'm talking about something that is still happening right now. I still talk to some of them. Not all of them, but the ones I built the strongest connections with. They still send me messages, and I still reply. Some of them come back every now and then as if they never really left. Sometimes it's just texting. Sometimes I go on a date when my husband isn't around. And every time I promise myself it will be the last time, another reason appears. Another excuse. Another feeling that I need it. I'm still cheating. That's the truth. Not because I'm unhappy with my husband. Not because I want to destroy my marriage. But because the feeling never went away. If anything, it became stronger. Harder to ignore. There's something about myself that I struggle to accept. I don't think I'm a bad person, but every time I meet a man, a part of me comes alive that I can't completely control. It's strange. I feel the urge. I feel the curiosity. There's a voice in my head telling me I need to know what would happen if. And no matter how much I try to silence that voice, it always comes back. I can go days, even weeks, feeling completely fine. Convincing myself that this time it's over. That I don't need anything else. And then suddenly, a glance from a stranger, a casual conversation, a smile, and everything starts again. It's as if something inside me wakes up and there's no way to stop it. A while ago, I downloaded a dating app on my phone. At first, it was just curiosity. I told myself I was only going to look. That I wouldn't talk to anyone. That nothing would happen. But we all know how those lies work, the ones we tell ourselves so we can feel a little less guilty. The app is still there. Hidden. Silenced. I use it when my husband leaves for work. I wait for him to walk out the door, for the apartment to become quiet. And only then do I open it. I reply to messages. I start new conversations. I choose. I reject. I present myself as someone who isn't entirely different, but isn't exactly the same either. It's still me, just without the role of wife attached to it. Some men know I'm married. Others don't. I don't always tell the truth. I don't always lie either. It depends on the day, my mood, and what I'm looking for. Sometimes I just want someone to talk to. Sometimes I need to feel interesting to someone who knows absolutely nothing about my life. And sometimes I arrange casual meetings. When I go out, I tell my husband I'm meeting friends. That we're grabbing a drink. That I need to clear my head for a while. And it's not entirely a lie. I do need to clear my head. Just not in the way he imagines. I get ready carefully. Not like someone who's nervous, but like someone who already knows exactly what she's doing. I pick casual clothes. Not too noticeable. Not too ordinary. I've learned how to move through life without raising suspicion. I've learned how to divide my time, my words, and my emotions. Sometimes I surprise myself with how easy it has become. When I'm talking to other men, I don't think about my husband. Not because I disrespect him, but because in those moments he simply doesn't exist. There's no comparison. No guilt. Only the version of me that still needs to feel young. Then I come home. I take off my shoes. Wash my hands. Sit on the couch. We talk about work. About our day. About life. And sometimes I wonder if he notices anything. If he senses a lie. If he suspects something. So far, he hasn't. Sometimes I look at myself in the mirror and try to understand who I am. I'm not a cold-hearted woman. I'm not unaware of what I'm doing. I'm someone who feels like she stepped into a stage of life before she was ready. Someone who chose stability while still wanting to experience everything life had to offer. I don't know how much longer I'll be able to keep living this double life. I don't know if one day I'll stop on my own, or if everything will eventually fall apart. All I know is that, for now, the desire to experience more of life is still there. And every time I think I've finally learned my lesson, another man appears. Another temptation. Another mistake. Maybe one day I'll have to face the consequences. Maybe I won't. But today, the only thing I can do is be honest with myself and admit this. I'm married. I love my husband. And yet I'm still looking for other men. Not because he isn't enough. But because, somehow, I still don't feel ready.